Hey everybody, Tom Didi here, Bram Stoker Award-winning author of Haven. Just like to invite everyone to come by and see me at the Ghoulish Book Festival in San Antonio, Texas on April 30th and May 1st. I will be sitting in on a couple panels, doing some readings, and it should be a great time. If you can't make it, check me out at tomdidi.com. Thanks.
How we do this, we are the truest. Got these fangs super sharp, your shit toothless. Cold-hearted, yeah we ruthless. All the ghouls in the cut, let's get ghoulish. In the graveyard, acting foolish. Finna dance with the devil to no music. Cold-hearted, yeah we ruthless. All the ghouls in the cut, let's get ghoulish.
Hello and welcome to a brand new episode of a podcast I like to call Ghoulish, with me, Max Booth, an undead host. And if you are listening to this episode already just disgusted with me, I don't blame you, because now we have some ads. First time, I think, in the show's history, we have outside advertisement. Well, it's for a good cause, because any advertisements you hear this month and possibly next month are from the sponsors of the very first Ghoulish Book Festival that I am throwing at the end of April. April 30th, May 1st. That halfway to Halloween weekend. It's coming up soon. We have lots of fun sponsors. You just heard Tom Didi advertising his website and his books. He's going to be at the fest. He also sponsored the fest. You will see his advertisement on the back cover of the program if you're attending. Pretty cool stuff. And at the end of the episode, you will hear from all the sponsors. So, go and check them out. Support their businesses because they supported the fest when we needed them the most. So thank you to all the sponsors. Thank you to the listeners of this podcast. On today's episode, I'm talking to Matt Brandenburg about a short film from 1983 called Possibly in Michigan. If you haven't seen it yet, I highly recommend going on over to YouTube, typing Possibly in Michigan, and watching it. It's only 12 minutes long, and it would help give you some insight into what we are discussing. But if you can't watch it right now, that's fine too, because I think we do a pretty good job of describing the video. And who knows, maybe it's more entertaining if you have no idea what the fuck we're talking about. That could really well be possible. Possibly in Michigan, with Matt Brandenburg. An episode of a podcast called Ghoulish. If you want to attend the fest that I am throwing with Lily Michelle, go on over to ghoulishbookfest.com, pick up a badge. It's in San Antonio, Texas at the end of April. I hope to see you. I hope to say hi. I hope you have a good time if you're planning on attending. I hope we all live happy lives and never experience pain again. Enjoy the episode. So you emailed me a link to a video called Possibly in Michigan, and you demanded I watch it, which I have twice now. For those listening who have no idea what Possibly in Michigan is, can you provide a brief breakdown? Or maybe not brief. Take as long as you want. This is a podcast, so tell the audience what this is.
Oh my God. I don't even know how you would describe this crazy thing. Basically, it is about two women and a man named Arthur who are all in love with perfume and violence. And it's like this weird horror musical, like, I've seen some people sort of compare it to Tim and Eric, but this was made in, I think, 83. So well before that. But it's that weird kind of cable accessy video VHS look. And it's just this like really fucked up thing of these two women in a mall. And there's this dude that has this like mask that's following them. And they sing throughout all of it. I'm sure we'll get into some of those lyrics, but there's a lot of singing, and then eventually the dude takes off the mask and turns into Prince Charming, and they eat him at the end.
Yeah, pretty much.
So,
It's what, 12 minutes long at most?
Yeah, I think it's about 12 minutes, and like a minute and a half of it's the credits at the end of a dump truck. So.
Yeah, a dump truck disposing of the body, what's left of the body, because they eat the body. But I assume we'll do we'll walk through the complicated plot of this.
Yeah.
But how did you discover it? Tell me about your experience with this movie.
So it's kind of a wacky like thing. Way back, take the back machine to 2015, and Reddit was the most popular internet service in the world, and there's this thing called R Creepy there, and somebody posted this video saying this is the creepiest thing they've ever seen. And of course, because I'm me, I had to watch it, and it just blew my mind, and then it sort of disappeared.
Yeah.
And then I think 2019 it like, and this is funny because I wasn't tied to any of this, but in 2019 it like blew up on TikTok. And it just it got huge there. But then a friend of mine a couple weeks back was like, "Oh, you gotta watch this crazy movie." And as soon as he put it on, I was like, "I've seen this damn thing. Why'd you put it back in my head?"
Right. Now, I saw that it became this TikTok sensation, but I also know TikTok has a really strict like limit of how long a video can be. So do you know like what section of the video that is like going crazy on TikTok, or is it multiple segments?
Oh, it is mainly the song about the crazy aunt who puts a poodle in a microwave. And it usually goes from there up to the "oh no 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 no" part, and that's it.
Okay. Yeah, which is really creepy because the lady is saying "oh no no no" and shaking, wagging her finger, and behind her, who we will describe in a minute, is the cannibal doing the same thing, but
Yeah.
the finger waving is done in reverse, which is really uncanny looking.
Yeah, and it goes way longer than you think. And throughout all of this, they're singing it, so it's just like, "Oh no 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 no," and it's just like, yeah, it's she had a vision.
Yeah. What is that recent Charlie Kaufman movie that was an adaptation of an Ian Reid novel? I'm thinking of Ending Things. Did you see the movie?
Yes, I didn't see it.
Oh man, so I highly recommend it if you like this video specifically, because there's a scene in it. The two leads, they come into a house, and the family dog also comes into the house, and the dog begins shaking because it's wet, but the shaking lasts for like over a minute, and we just watch this dog shake, and then like everything's fine. But that's what it reminded me of quite a bit.
Like, I do love Charlie Kaufman. I don't know why I haven't seen that yet.
So good.
It looks amazing. I even have his book, Antkind.
Yeah. Have you read it?
Now it's like the top of my stack. It's the next one I'm going to, because it's a big one. So I was kind of like, oh, I need to finish some stuff, but it sounds amazing.
I'm in love with that novel. I didn't realize how long it was, because I received an advanced reading copy on my e-reading device, and it just kept going.
Yeah. which makes sense for him. I mean, that's his style.
Yeah. Like, I know the intention with this novel was to write a book that would be impossible to make into a movie, and I think he succeeded. So I hope you pick it up soon and you enjoy it. And also, yeah, definitely watch that movie. A lot of people online, like you'll see, they trash talk that movie a lot because mostly just like book people who love the novel, and the movie is really different from the book, which is okay
Yeah.
to me. It's a Charlie Kaufman book. I mean,
Yeah.
movie. Like, look at how he did that adaptation movie.
Exactly. Oh man, I worked at a bookstore and a lot of people were picking up, what was it, The Orchid Thief or whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
I was like, these are not the same thing. Like,
Oh,
oh,
that's hilarious. That's
like, there's
great.
gonna be no Nicolas Cage, I promise.
Yeah, Kaufman is not a kill in the book, I imagine. So it's I think it's worth noting that possibly in Michigan, maybe you did say it, I don't know. It came out in 1983.
Yeah, it's an old one, and so it's and I always pronounce her last name wrong. It's Celia like Condit or something like that, and she's made like a ton. She's still making stuff, but
Yeah,
yeah, I think this was her second. She made one beneath skin. That was her first one. Beneath the
supposedly,
skin.
possibly in Michigan is the second installment of a loose trilogy. You know about this?
Yeah. It's so I watched the first one, which was Beneath the Skin. And so the crazy thing, and I don't know if you read that about the fact that this is all supposed to be tied to the fact that she dated
Yeah.
a serial killer.
Yep,
Um
Ira Einhorn, aka the Unicorn Kill. I
yeah.
what I read was this dude killed his ex-girlfriend and like hid the body in a trunk in his closet. And
Yeah.
supposedly, Cecilia was dating this dude while this body was just fucking decomposing in the closet.
Yeah. She said she was taking medication, so she had no sense of smell and couldn't smell the body decomposing.
That checks out.
Yeah, totally normal. It was like the neighbors who thought somebody had, like, an animal had died, and that's how they did it.
How fucking traumatizing would that must
Yeah.
have been.
I mean, it's like, and that's what this is like supposed to kind of be. The first movie, Beneath the Skin movie, we'll call that. I think it's like 10 minutes. Um, is basically her monologue about that whole situation.
Okay.
And it's crazy. She's just talking about, like, she had no idea, and like the unicorn killer was acting all weird for a while, but then was fine, and she was just she was like, I didn't know, it was my mom. My mom told me he was a killer, and like her mom even thought they had a skull at their mom's house, but it turned out the body they had, like, he had pushed the skull into the cat like chest. So
Ooh, okay.
yeah. Yeah. So
Yikes.
yeah, and that's this possibly in Michigan supposed to be kind of the dream version of that, where Beneath the Skin is like the version. This is her life, and the video is just as weird. It's her talking a little monologue about all of this, and at the same time the screen, it's like all these mummified corpses, and the Janet, no, Sharon from Possibly in Michigan, she's in this on a swing, and then there's like people writhing around on the ground. It's I gotta
Okay.
yeah, I don't even
Did you?
know.
I didn't see that one. I just scheduled like this trilogy way too late. Did you also watch the filled one, which is called Not a Jealous Bone?
That one I did not. I
Okay.
did not. I did not go too deep into that one, just because I was like, after Beneath the Skin and Possibly in Michigan, I was like, and the interview that I'd watched, I was like, I need to step back for a minute, because this stuff gets like in your head and you dream about it. It's wild.
Yeah, I did watch the interview, and I guess we can talk about that after we like walk through
Yeah.
Possibly in Michigan.
Yes.
So, do you have the names of the cast handy?
I do. So our main characters are Sharon and Janice, who Janice, by the she made all the music for this.
Yeah.
And then Arthur which is our man in the mask, who also turns into Prince Charming. So those are our three guys, or our three main characters in this wild story.
Okay.
And apparently she never and you saw that interview, so we'll get into that about not paying them.
Yeah, I had questions about that. I think I saw Cecelia was also like being the author kill in some scenes. Like she had the mask on. But I wasn't able to tell what scenes those were.
I think I think it was mostly her, just because who knows? I think it was mostly her, and then maybe they got the Arthur guy to pop up, or Prince Charming pop up for those last couple scenes.
That would make sense.
He's just they only wanted him for a little bit. They needed her to do this thing.
Yeah, because I mean, the fill stamp of this video takes place in a shopping mall, and to quickly reference the interview that you linked me, she was saying they only had like 20 minutes every day to film in it.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like they went to all these different malls. This one was in Cleveland, and she waited all day and finally got in, and they didn't even get to they would set up a scene probably in the 10 minutes and record for 10 more. Compare that to say like Shopping Mall, which they got to record all night in a mall. So
that's the dream.
I don't know on Dawn of the Dead. I'm assuming they recorded all day in a mall too, but
I assumed they just rented the mall at that point. But like she was saying that sometimes the entire day would just be figuring out that the perfume section has good lighting.
Like I can't imagine, I couldn't find anything on how long it actually took to record, but most of this was set in the mall, and if you imagine the 20-minute settings, you gotta be like weeks in there trying to figure this thing out.
You think like the shopping mall manager would have just been like, okay, come in at like 5 a.m. today, do everything you need, and then don't bug me again, instead of like come every day for 20-minute segments.
It's like seriously, I can't imagine like if she would have went in there and said, look, I got 5 minutes of film I want to do in the mall, shouldn't take me too long, just let me do one night. I can't imagine what they're do. And then if you look at that mall, half the stores are closed, look like they were empty to begin with. It's like you're not getting a lot of business there, so it should be fine.
Right. And do you know if this was shot on film or digital?
It looked like it was shot on film.
Okay. I was thinking the opposite, but then I thought, I don't know when digital cameras were a thing.
Yeah, I want to say totally 83. It was like secret that Steven Spielberg was hiding it and didn't want everyone to know. It's like, I think it was just it was film. I don't know if get super fancy and say it was a Super 8, but I'm assuming it was just like a film. So they had money from Ohio. Institute of Arts gave them a bunch of money, so maybe they had a fancy camera.
They were funded by a place in Ohio. They filmed in Cleveland, but for some reason this is called possibly in Michigan. It's not. It's in Cleveland.
I think it was just that one line in the song, and she was like, "That's the title, possibly in Michigan."
It's a great title. I love the title.
Yeah, it's awesome. And the mall, it looked like malls here in Michigan, so I was like, I could believe it.
Do you live in Michigan?
I do.
Oh, shit.
The west side of the state. So
you live possibly in Michigan.
Possibly in Michigan. Sometime, possibly Illinois, possibly Indiana. That's all where I'm near. So
I grew up in the tip top of Indiana, but it's like you step 2 feet to the left and suddenly you're in Chicago.
Oh yeah. We drive through that area a lot.
Yeah.
So that's where we would go down. Now it's legal. Fireworks are legal in Michigan, but when we were younger, you'd have to just drive down across the border to buy fireworks.
Yeah. That's cool. Any strange shopping mall experiences in Michigan?
Well, so I did work at a mall for 6 years.
Oh man.
Yeah, I worked at a bookstore, good old Walden Books in a mall, and lots. So our mall we would wander around in the back because the back was always a cool spot to just go bum around when you needed time. And we found an old it was like a jail cell. I think it was like their security area where they would put people, and we found all their old, like, they didn't quite have billy clubs, but they had like the leather straps with like a little ball on the bottom of them.
Okay.
Yeah, so like I guess I guess the mall way back maybe in the 80s was a rougher place, so they would lock
Jesus
people up.
Christ. Probably 1983, if I had to guess.
Probably men in weird masks walking around. I mean,
Let's talk about this mask, okay? I know I said we should reference the interview after the fact, but we have to, because she explains finding this mask in the basement of a dentist office. Is that right?
Yeah.
How would you describe the mask?
It very dapper. It had like a pencil thin mustache, and it had a big open mouth, which I assumed for where people would mess with teeth. And it had like a blondish hair, and it was all like a full-on mask, like it wrapped around her head, and it just had these black eyes and a little eyebrows, and it was very, very dapper. Even had but just like this big open mouth that she would walk around with her mouth open.
Maybe it wasn't a dentist office, but a dental school. That sounds like it would make no sense.
Yeah, I would think so. Like, and it's weird that it was like a mask. Like, it wasn't a mannequin. She didn't say that. So, like,
I feel like it was probably used for students to like test on. Like they probably put the mask over a head or something, like a mannequin head.
That makes more sense. I was thinking like you just put it over like a student, and then have like, so you wouldn't know who you were working on, and then they wouldn't know. She at one point said she couldn't see out of the mask, which then in turn makes sense because the person down in the table wouldn't see who's working on them.
Yeah. In reality, it wasn't intended for anyone to look at it.
Yeah, right. So that's I
didn't realize for some reason that she also had her little mouth wide open, but that explains why it looks so creepy. It's two mouths ladled over each other, just wide open.
Yeah, the whole time, like she just walked. She never closed it on film, so like that was dedication. She just was there.
I guess the end plot idea would be he's a cannibal, so he's always ready for his next meal.
Yeah, like a Pac-Man, you just stick the food in there. I mean, that's normally like when I look like pizza, I usually just put my mouth open and just like push it in.
That's how I sleep. just waiting for any spiders to crawl in. Easy access. Okay, so let's walk through this possibly in Michigan. I'm gonna click play on the video, but with it muted, so I don't forget anything. Do you want to do the same?
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Okay, I have it ready. So just tell me when, and I will hit play.
All right, I gotta scroll. I was looking at all the comments. They crack me up.
Yeah, that's how I found out about the living with the crazy unicorn dude.
Yeah, it's so crazy. All right, I am ready. I have it muted as well.
Okay, 1, 2, 3, click it.
Click.
All right. So we open with infinite darkness. I see.
Yeah, I was just thinking that.
And then we have this nice this nice panning of the shopping mall, with possibly in Michigan on the front.
Very classy text.
The problem with it being muted is I no longer remember what the narration is saying.
We can get into some of that. It's basically just And there she is. So we got Sharon, and now we have Arthur. He's walking out of this elevator with his mouth wide open.
I can tell now that it is Cecelia walking. It's a really like feminine frame the cannibal has.
Yeah.
It's just he looks just disturbing because he's walking in this suit with two mouths wide open.
Yeah. And the hands he's always kind of like in the background, like almost every scene he kind of just pops up there.
Yeah. And I love the line, you mentioned it previously, but the narration is like, the three of them had two things in common, violence and perfume.
Which at first you're thinking, oh, perfume's like this big play, but then after their song about perfume, you kind of, and it's not even about perfume, it's just this crazy song.
Yeah.
And it never comes back.
I don't know if the cannibal has any interest in perfume. He's just following them.
I think they put it on him. They were like,
oh,
like okay. So, yeah, we get to see Chicken. Here's the no.
Yeah, so there's a few times where like Basset Hound is shown for no reason at all. Yeah, I love Basset Hound, so I found that pleasant. But later on in the video, when we go to the house, they don't even have a Basset Hound. They have like a lab or something.
Yeah, there's a lot of this like weird imagery just put in there, like a building collapsing, somebody cutting up chicken, a grandma with a poodle.
Yeah, because they have an anecdote in the song about someone microwaving a poodle and the poodle exploding, which I don't think is what would happen scientifically.
No, I don't think they're like potatoes or like hot dogs. I think they just sort of pass out.
Yeah, we'll see that guy on Twitter who like once a year he will put something in his air fryer for like 15 hours straight to see what happens. Like he's done that with a hot dog. He did that with a Big Mac recently. Imagine if he did that with a poodle.
Oh God, that'd be a big air fryer. I mean,
yeah,
it would probably be very crispy. Like I imagine the hair crisping up a lot.
Yeah, like with the Big Mac, he had to unplug it like halfway through and plug it in outside because the house just reeked.
I can imagine. I feel like it would just turn into a giant rock at that point.
Yeah, he ate it and it was still edible, which is scarier than anything.
Yeah, that is a little frightening. I can't imagine it tasting good.
So we just have in this video cut scenes of men in fish masks dancing at like some like ballroom.
Yeah, here we go, Arthur. But yeah, I'm not quite sure like the dance, if that was like meant some sort of like maybe they were on a date. Again, this is supposed to be her processing dating the unicorn killer, so maybe they had gone on a dance and this is her dancing with him.
Yeah. The two leads, are they supposed to be just best friends or are they levels? Because I can't tell. Although later on they do eat a man in the nude.
Yeah, so that is where we start getting into the crazy interpretations. A lot of interviews or YouTube go-overings of this say that they are lovers, but then other times people just say they're best friends, and your friend's looking out for you. If you date a cannibal, he's gonna shoot him.
Yeah,
he's gonna feed him to you. Makes perfect sense. So I think that was supposed to be an open to interpretation. She never came out and said one way or the other what those two actually are.
Either way, it feels like a really like courageous thing to make in the early 80s.
Oh yeah, I mean this is it's like everything about this just surprises me, like where she came from this and just the way she did it. I mean, because they have two women end up killing and eating this man. I mean, a lot of people talk about that aspect of just like this feminine thing, and she even talks about in the interview, which we'll get to, just about this name of Arthur and what that actually means, and her like using art for violence against men instead of vice versa. If anyone posted any
any like excerpt of all conversation right now on Facebook, they would get banned.
I think so.
It's like I know if you post like mental trash on Facebook, you get like a 30-day suspension, which is really silly to me.
I mean, you could post like crazy, like we're gonna go, I don't know, boycott a bunch of people, but
we're gonna go storm the Capitol.
Yeah, we're gonna have an insurrection and murder and try to take over the country. But if we talk about this sweet little video about two women becoming cannibals eating a man, Facebook would hunt us down.
Yeah, they would, man. They would send out like robot dogs to kill us. So they met the person who interviews Cecelia in the interview. That was a terrible sentence, but anyway, she said that the dude Ethel looks even creepier without the mask on, and I kind of agree.
Yeah, he looks rough. The hair and just the he's got a very thick mustache. This dude. But yeah, I mean, he looks like he could eat somebody. I guess he was a friend of one of theirs.
Do you know if the unicorn killer was he dabbling in cannibalism at all? I don't think so.
I don't think so either. The way it sounded like it was just I'm gonna kill my ex-roommate girlfriend and stuff her in a trunk. There wasn't any mention of eating people, so I'm not sure where she I think she just liked cannibal stuff.
I mean, you take one look at that mask and you think cannibal.
Oh yeah, totally.
Like, I wonder how much the mask influenced the script.
Yeah, that would be interesting to see where she if she found that first and said, I have an idea. Or if she was like, because all the other masks, like totally make sense. They're a bunch of animal masks. That's fine. I mean, they're everywhere, even now. But yeah, that dental mask, that could have spurred a lot of this.
Yeah. So Prince Trailmane, aka Ethel, he comes into the house. He slaps one of the women around. I don't know the names. And
Sharon.
Yeah. And then the friend comes in and I believe just shoots him with a gun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just like well, and what's even crazier is the fact.
So we just had a random cut of one of the women eating messy chicken.
Yeah, a little bit out of nowhere, but that works.
I do love, like, as she's getting slapped around, we keep getting these fade-ins of like what old rotting corpse might look like.
Yes,
it's pretty cool.
It's pretty messed up. Well, and I love the way that it's like very like people had to have watched this and decided to make cool MTV music videos, because there's like, she recorded it and then played it on a TV and then recorded the TV playing it. And so it's like all this like really crazy imagery. I don't know. Yeah.
It's pretty kind of annoying that like she didn't become a big old name and hasn't made like feature length movies.
Yeah. I don't know if that's just because she's still making stuff. I think she's got like over 20 videos. So I don't know if she's just tough to work with. Or if she just wanted to make these weird things and was afraid to put them anywhere else.
Yeah. So real fast. So now the two women are naked, smoking cigarettes, eating the body and feeding some of it to the dog, who is not a basset hound. And in the background, outside through the window, we see like the ghost of the cannibal watching himself be eaten.
Yeah, I having watched this a lot, kept trying to figure out if that was actually, so getting deep now, like if that's now part of like that's part of them, like they're always gonna have Arthur with them, or yeah, if it was the ghost. But it was just so weird because like he's there and he even drinks some of the, what I found out through another video, that wine's supposed to be blood.
Yeah, I figured as much.
It's like my first watch through a long time ago, I was like, oh, they're just drinking wine and eating human meat like normal, but apparently it's supposed to be blood. But like, yeah, I keep wondering on that scene if that like meant that he'll always be around, even even after the fact. Like,
Well, do you
kind of-
think it means that now they have the tasteful human?
I would think so. It's crazy that they like instantly went for eating it. Like, there was no question about it.
I mean, they put his whole head like in a pot and began boiling it. And then they take like the bones and whatever was left over, and they put them in trash bags, and we follow this garbage truck just on its route during the credits. And I have to ask, do you think they had the budget to rent a garbage truck, or do you think she was just following an actual truck filming them?
I think she was just following a truck.
Yeah.
So I don't think the garbage he might, like, in this really long list of credits, he might be in there. But I think they literally were just like, hey, dude, we're going to record you for an hour. Hope you don't mind. And he was like, oh, it's cool. And he was like, I'm down. You go ahead. I got nothing better to do.
I thought they at least like got him a 6-pack, but judging from what we will talk about in a second in the interview, they probably didn't pay him anything.
No. They were probably just like, oh, we're students and we're just recording. I hope you don't mind.
So, okay. So with the interview,
Yes.
let me go to it because I can't recall who did it, but I don't have the fucking link now.
It's whatchamacallit? I wrote it down.
Okay, I found it. Yeah,
Eternal Family.
This is one, like, just to begin with, I was a big fan of just the presentation and the person who was doing the interview. I want to look at multiple videos. Do you know much about them?
I was looking. This seemed like to be the only interview they've done. But they do a bunch of other weird stuff. So they look kind of like I don't call them like a comedy troupe, but they look like kind of like one of those like groups that just record beer. Like they have their home channel and they record all these weird things.
Okay.
But it seemed like, because when you watch that thing, they talk about possibly in Michigan being on their channel. So I don't know, maybe they own like a cable access channel and they just do a bunch of stuff on there, because the YouTube video is owned by Cecelia. So I don't know, like, I don't know much more about them than just what I've seen on YouTube, and it's all just these kind of weird skits and everything.
Okay. Well, either way, they do a good job interviewing Cecelia, I thought.
Yeah. It's like, what I loved is it's so bonkers that interviews almost like a movie itself. They like just do this just crazy like cable access thing with like green screens and they're all wearing masks themselves, which cracked me up.
Well, in the beginning, until they find out that Cecelia hates anything scary, so they all put the masks off.
She's like, no, I don't like anything scary, and then she pulls up and she's like, take them off. It's just so wacky. But I loved, like, they just had all these weird like Halloween props in the background, and they even had the dental mask and had her put it on, and it's just this weird thing.
It had to be the same mask, right? They couldn't have a duplicate of that.
Yeah, it totally had to be. I'm sure she's kept it. I mean, she had the suit on,
yeah,
tux or whatever.
So in the interview, she brings out to Cecelia that the actresses from the video have described Cecelia as being mean and difficult to work with, and possibly didn't pay anything. I didn't have time to look up like if they were interviewed by someone else in the past. Do you know any more about this?
So I looked, and they've actually been in, especially Sharon, the actress who played Sharon, has been in multiple of her videos. So it mustn't have been that bad if she was going to be in all these things. So she was in that the first video that Cecelia did, and then she was in 2 or 3 other ones. It's weird, like this video, just looking up Cecilia's stuff in general is very like part of it's just kind of all buried under TikTok conversations. All the articles are about that. But otherwise, when you kind of like start digging into the making of Possibly in Michigan, there's just not a lot out there. I found a couple of like PDFs of when they showed these at film festivals and stuff like that, but there's nothing kind of beyond that of what happened. I think she made it and didn't think it was going to be anything other than this little like film fest thing. And so maybe that's why she didn't pay him.
How the fuck can you predict in 1983 that we're gonna have these tiny little phones and there's gonna be apps, little apps? I don't know. It's 1983. That we're gonna have these apps where you can just shield any video ever made in history with every person alive, and then you could take those videos and record yourself doing tiny dances to them.
That was seriously.
Like she wasn't thinking, one day this will go viral on TikTok.
I know what I'm gonna do.
I'm playing the long game.
Yeah, I'm totally playing this long game. I got this.
Maybe she like does some time travel stuff. Like, people always say, "Oh, go back in time, bet on some sports team." No, you go back in time, you make a really odd video, and then in 20 years, TikTok will discover it.
Totally. I mean, like, yeah, this thing.
Oh shit! Not 20 years, 40 years. What? This is 2020. Shit. Oh my god, time has passed.
Yeah. That's bonkers. She had to have. Yeah. I think that's what she did, because I don't think I've seen anything super. Well, I mean, there was crazy stuff, but man, this felt like one of the first really bonkers things.
I really wish I had discovered this like when I was 12 and and YouTube was invented, and my friends and I would just like do whippets in his basement and watch videos. This would have been great.
So we used to, in high school, I wasn't the greatest of students, and our science teacher, I think it was his last year, and so he didn't really care what we did. And so he was like, well, I got projects for you to do, and you can either make a video or come up in front of us and talk. And I was like, well, fuck, I'm gonna make a video because I don't want to get in front of people. And our videos look, I'm not like this, but they're like, we did a plant reproduction video in which we had 2 fake plants go on a date and then have sex.
Excellent.
And then we did a fish reproduction video in which like VHS or VCRs used to have like a blue screen.
Yeah.
So we just left that on TV and had cardboard fish in front of it. It was amazing. But I'm like, man, if I would have known, like, I could have put it up here now, then yeah, that would have been, I would have saved it all.
Yeah. And you have to wonder if like Tim and Alec did like see this somehow and full use, because it feels directly inspired.
Oh, totally. And that goes like exactly. That's why I think your time travel thing is right, because she had to have seen like the Tim and Eric stuff, or just even more of the bonker things that people do on Adult Swim, and she's like, I got this. I'm gonna go back in time and do this.
Meanwhile, I don't think anyone in like Adult Swim really makes that much money. I mean, maybe like three superstars maybe, but everybody else still like, can I pay rent next week?
Yeah, right. Or they're just like, I'm gonna fuck around for 10 minutes. Can I do that? And they're like, sure, go ahead. We don't care.
It's like the best thing I've ever seen that was on Adult Swim was Too Many Cooks, and like this feels, and it has the same similar vibe as possibly in Michigan.
Yes.
What will happen with Too Many Cooks? Like, do we know like who made it? And like, it has to be known who made it. I don't know, but like, have they made anything else crazy? I don't know.
I think that group did. So they had a bunch of the infomercials on Adult Swim that I think were the same crew that did that. So like, they had one, even with like Ray Weiss from like Twin Peaks, where he was like running like a resort, but it was like the Devil's Resort, and it was super insane. But it was kind of like that Too Many Cooks, where it started out normal and then it just turned into like selling your soul and stuff like that. So I don't know, the crazy guy from Too Many Cooks, he ended up being on some TV shows. I can't remember what I saw him on, but
I saw him on something too, and I got so excited. But now I can't recall now. But he's been on a few things. Yeah,
it's crazy. But
anyway,
that totally, they had to have seen this at one point, and we're like, we're gonna do this.
The cast from possibly Michigan, you said the one lady was in a few of Cecelia's other movies. Have they gone on to do anything else? Do you know?
I don't think so. I know that Janice, so the one who shot our cannibal, she wrote the music for this and a couple of the other things that, again, working with her, it's so crazy. So like she wrote music for a number of Candace's videos or Cecilia's videos. So like I don't know where that came from. Maybe they were just mad about something. But
The
like,
music is so good. It's what makes it makes the short film. I want to have the songs.
Oh, seriously. I mean, like, that's a killer synth soundtrack. The lyrics are just so out there that are perfect. I mean, you can't. How do you rhyme animal and cannibal and not be a genius?
That is true. I mean, I don't get how she hasn't won. What do you win? An Emmy?
Yeah, like a daytime Emmy or something.
No, it's not an Emmy. What the fuck do music people win?
Oh, a Grammy? No,
a Grammy. Yeah, I think that's it.
Emmy, Grammy, it's all the same.
Oscar is what it's called. And you know what? She should have won an Emmy too.
I think so.
Be honest.
I mean, I think she just kept it very small and maybe, like you said, in the 80s. Actually, I found somewhere that Pat Robertson saw this and he showed clips of this on his 700 Club saying that this was all against, it was anti-male content.
Yeah, it was gay. It was
Yes.
anti-man and something else. Hold on, I have it in one of my browsers.
Yeah, he substituted the soundtrack with poetry by a gay male author, and then railed against the National Endowment of the Arts.
Yeah, it was described as gay, anti-family, anti-men. And a year later, the short film was read as lesbianism by the National Endowment. You just said this, didn't you? You did.
But you made it sound official, so
I'm just repeating what you said. My bad.
Hey, it worked. It's all good. Yeah.
Oh.
I don't know about the anti-family. I mean, it seemed like they had a pretty good family with their dog and the two women together.
Yeah,
it's
but come on, that's not what these people think of family is. These people think of family is a guy who has a job. He comes home, he hits his wife, and then like pats his son in the head and plays ball outside. And then calls his Donald's boyfriend a piece of shit and threatens to kill him. It says, like, these are the rules for dating my teenage turtle. Don't have sex with her. That's my job as a father.
She's mine.
Don't touch her flesh. I've milked it already.
Oh, God.
I mean, that's what they think a family is, not what I
think. Totally. Yeah.
My idea of a family is just two ladies naked eating a dude.
Patting a dog.
I'm the one being eaten.
There you go. Your love of perfume just gets them going and they work.
The band, yes.
Yeah.
I haven't thought about that band in probably 10 years. My God. I couldn't even tell you what they sound like, but I used to like them.
Yeah,
Okay. Is there anything else from the interview that we need to bring up that I'm forgetting about?
The only thing I can think of is the dude having a knife and a gun just on him.
Yes. So go ahead and tell the audience about that.
So in the movie, at one point, Janice is shooting a bunch of people in masks, just completely random, just shooting them. So anyway, we jumped towards this interview and Cecelia was like, oh, well, I asked our friend here if he had a knife on him or like if we could get a knife, and the dude pulled it out of his boot. And then she asked, hey, is there a chance you have a gun? And sure enough, he pulls the gun out too, just like carried it on set, ready to go. And I'm assuming that's the gun they used. So there's no way that was a prop gun.
I like to imagine he had the gun like in the second boot. Like totally. He has a knife boot and a gun boot.
Yeah, just like cool. old cowboy, which I think works for his his look. Like I could see him like in a Trans Am going down bootlegging, and then he's got his trusty knife and gun for when he's at the juke joint.
I'm gonna get a gun and knife.
You should, just a little one.
I mean, I live in Texas. I can get away with
Yeah.
it.
You could say it's for It's like I'm
It's
trying to
full
come up with an
protection.
excuse, but
You don't need a reason in Texas. You need a
like,
reason not to have one in Texas. They look at you odd when you will not pack in something.
yeah, like what's going on here? And you're like, I'm cool. I like the snakes here. That's all.
You get pulled over by a cop and they go, still a reason you don't have a gun on you at the moment.
You're very suspicious.
Quick, shoot him. He doesn't have a gun.
Yeah, he don't have a gun.
All right. Well, I think we've covered everything. Yes.
I think
Okay.
I think so. I'm trying to think like yeah, I think that's like the craziest stuff. It's just this weird thing, and I think we covered it all.
Yeah, I think it's just. I mean, I will link to the video in the show notes, and I encourage anyone to watch it.
Yeah,
I think it's just a good celebration of being creative. To be honest, like the whole thing is just a lot of fun to watch.
yeah, like, and I think that was one of the things. I mean, besides the weird, just it's very strange as you watch it. So it's just a strange video, but I think if you look at it in this like creative way of the way she did the shots and the way she set things up, I mean, like the story doesn't make much sense, but camera wise, it's like no one makes stuff as this bizarre anymore like this.
Unless they're trying to be like ironic.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that kind of would come across. For here, she was just like, I'm gonna do some crazy shit. Here's a bunch of mummies that I'm gonna put on there, and worms and all this stuff. And you're just like, okay. So yeah, it's definitely worth watching for that. But like, don't blame us if the songs get in your head.
Well, you can blame us, I guess.
I guess so.
I mean, nothing's gonna change.
No. I woke up last night like with this Animal Cannibal song stuck in my head. So
I thought for a second that they were doing a cover of that 9 Inch Nails song about the hand that feeds in the beginning.
Yes,
it's really similar. But I don't know which song came out first.
It's a good question. He, thinking about some of his videos, he definitely had seen this at some point.
I'm Googling this 1 second.
You have to. And while you're Googling, it also has a beat. There's another, like some 70s rock song that has a very similar like track to this. I'm not saying they copied it, but like,
yeah,
it could be, maybe that's why it's still underground.
So The Hand That Feeds came out in the 2005 album With Teeth.
Ooh.
From 9 Inch Nails. So
uh-oh. Yeah, a little 20-year gap there, but
you better get your lawyer on the phone, Trent Reznor, because we're coming from you.
She's gonna send a man in a mask. You better watch out.
Oh my god. Okay. What do you have to promote?
Oh man, nothing. No,
nothing.
Nothing. I'm just here promoting this fun movie. No, I'm a voice on Staring Into the Abyss, so you can check us out there. I have some stories floating around on places, 34 Orchard, whatchamacallit, stuff like that. Dark Corner Ezine. So you can find me over there, but I'm mostly either on the podcast or on Twitter. So that's me.
And how can they find you on Twitter?
Oh, that's a good idea. I should say that. I'm just look on Twitter for the weird mask and you'll find me. No, at Brandenburg DM, just like the gate, or the concerto.
Okay, excellent. Well, hey, thank you for reaching out about doing this, and this was a lot of fun. I'm glad I watched this video.
Yeah, it was a blast. I definitely watched Beneath the Skin. I'm
gonna watch them all.
Yeah, you should. Because
I feel like the way to watch them is like with a newborn baby in front of the screen.
I think so.
And like with tape holding the eyes open.
Yeah, like a little Clockwork Orange. You got to like get that imagery in there now. So when they get into the future, obviously we can't predict what's happening because we don't know what's happening. So the future might be like this show. So
I hope it is. I mean, this is what shopping malls are like now, if you want to be honest. I mean, there's no one in them except some dude with two mouths.
Walk in their laps, like you gotta get those steps in.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'm gonna end this now. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
And thank you to our sponsors, Tom Deedy, author of Haven and the Clearing, Tindybrus Press, an independent publisher of new weird horror from diverse and unsung voices around the world, Bucket of Blood Books and Records, Chicago's premier destination for new and used horror books and movies, Witty Books, an independent bookstore in Tulsa, Oklahoma, specializing in speculative fiction, small press titles, all things spooky. Find them online at wittybooks.com. My Horror Confessional, a horror movie podcast, Nightworms, a horror subscription service, Horror DNA, a horror website, Vic Carey, author of Thorazine Dreams, and Nightfire, publisher of books for the dead, the living, and everyone in between. Nightfire is the new horror imprint from the folks at Tor Books.
Live spooky, die spooky.
Rest in peace, Max.